Are we live? We're live. All right, everybody, welcome to PFN live stream. Things are looking a little different. Things are. It's been a bit. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've done stuff. PFN live is not going anywhere. Don't be alarmed. We will be having regular PFN live this Wednesday. I know we've taken a few weeks off, but I've had a lot of crazy stuff going on in my personal life with vehicles, which is luckily pretty much all been sorted out, taken care of, which I am very thankful for. As always, I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell, and today we brought back Brandon for this impromptu stream. Thanks for coming back, Brandon. So we're going to talk about, basically the plan is we're just going to talk about ObiWan episode 3, because we haven't talked about that yet. We're going to talk about Stranger Things. And then Sean's going to give a little quick review of The Boys. But before we get to any of those, I just need to talk to Brandon real quick.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, Brandon left. Okay, bye, Brandon. Maybe he'll come back.
I wonder what just happened there. Couldn't take the heat.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. But I was going to talk to Brandon about Jurassic Park 2 and 3 because I made the statement of nobody told me they were so bad. And he looked at me like I was a crazy person.
Which one do you think you like better?
I don't know. I honestly think I might like 3 more. And I know that's
Lost
probably
World,
like
right?
the wrong answer. No, 3 is just Jurassic Park 3.
Oh, right. 2 is
and
Lost
Jurassic
World.
Park 2 is Lost World. Yeah, and that might be like the wrong answer. But yeah, they were both really bad. Do you think he's coming back?
Probably.
Maybe his computer
Hopefully.
just turned off or something.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know, because he didn't just leave. He's gone off of Discord. So
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That's pretty.
All right.
funny.
Well, we'll put a pin in that conversation, I guess. But so do you want to talk about? Because he's here for ObiWan. So do you want to talk about Stranger Things, or do you want
Sure.
to? You want to talk about Boys real quick, and then we can talk about Stranger Things. If he's not back.
So Boys season 3 premiered. Premiered the first 3 episodes on Amazon Prime Video on Friday. My non-spoiler thoughts are up on the channel. Some of my non-spoiler thoughts are up on the channel right now. I released a short on our TikTok as well as on our YouTube channel, just covering basically a quick, my quick little review of the first 3 episodes. The long story short is continues to be fantastic. If you are one of those people that The Boys is for you and you love that show and everything, continue to look forward to it. Be excited. If you haven't checked it out yet, I know there's a lot of great TV on right now, obviously. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check it out when you have the time to. I would say check it out as soon as possible just because it is so good. And it is one of those shows that if you find yourself online or anything, you could face the dreaded spoilers. So a lot of big stuff happening right off the bat. If you think that this show is, maybe, oh, well, it's getting bigger, it's season 3, maybe they're going to dial things back. They do not at all. If anything, they are tripling, doubling, quadrupling down on everything that people love about the show and everything that makes it, I guess. And if you watch the show, you know exactly what I mean by that. To all of its violent and otherwise methods, absolutely doubles down on. And something that I really, really love is so far this season, there's been a lot of Stan Edgar with Giancarlo Esposito taking seemingly a bigger role in this season than the past 2 seasons. And then another thing that I said in my trailer reaction that had me a little worried about The Boys season 3 was the trailers were really not showing Huey that much. So I thought maybe with Jack Quaid getting some more movies and stuff, I thought maybe he was going to have a reduced role or something. He does not. He is just, I think that they just chose to market it that way. He is like going through some stuff that I thought, obviously the first 2 seasons he went through a lot, but this is like pretty crazy, and I'm loving every second of
Mm.
it. So definite strong 5 out of 5. I would say for me right now, after these 3 episodes, definitely I would say either is or as long as the season continues, best season yet of the show, which is like I don't even know how they keep doing it, how they keep topping
Right.
themselves year after year, but they've found a way. So definitely check it out. It's just so good.
Yeah, I watched the first episode. Loved it. I thought I had my mouth like just my jaw just dropped open like twice.
Yeah.
Mainly after the first big kind of kill, I guess.
Mhm.
That was I was very shocked by that. But everybody keeps referring to, or what I've seen on Twitter is people are referring to that one episode. I think it's episode 6 of this season.
Oh yeah, Hero
That
Gasm.
the Hero Gasm. That because what's the writer's name again? Eric
Eric Kripke.
Kripke. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I was gonna blow your mind."
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that episode. But yeah, I've just been putting off the second and third episode. I'm definitely gonna watch them probably tomorrow. But yeah, really excited for those. All right, now that Brandon's back, did your computer just turn off or what?
No, just Discord right when you introduced me was like, yeah, you're not going on. So
Okay.
that was fun.
All right, so Jurassic Park 2 and 3. So when's the last time you've watched these movies? That's what I have to ask.
Lost World was probably pre-COVID. It was probably around COVID.
Oh,
Three
okay.
has been
Recently.
three's longer than that. So
Okay.
it's it's probably like maybe like 3 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years for 3.
Okay, and which
when I
one
was
would you
living at
say? Okay, and which one would you say is the better one in your opinion?
Probably 3 because of Sam Neill, but I think Ian
Okay.
Malcolm and Jeff Goldblum's character is
Okay.
really good.
And now, last question, I think maybe. Can you give me a like? And it's all opinion based, you know. Movies are what do they call subjective? You know, everybody has their own tastes and everything. So in no way am I shaming you at all. You know, I'm not a shamer. But can I ask you why you like either of these movies?
2's ending is really good,
From
and
your
I
best
also,
memory.
yeah, just 2's Lost World's ending is really good. I thought the whole villainy of humans trying to take the dinosaurs back to San Diego is really good, and then actually them landing in a spot with a whole bunch of humans and recapturing the T-Rex, really good. Didn't really care for the first part. Didn't really care for Vince Vaughn's character. But other than that, pretty good. And
You
then
didn't
the
care
third
about
movie,
him and his stepdaughter?
no.
That was Jeff Goldblum. I
Jeff
think.
Goldblum, yeah.
Oh, rip.
Yeah, it was,
Daughter.
yeah. That was fine. Like that was whatever. Like I didn't mind that. And then 3 is just I thought was really good because it introduced Spinosaurus and had like a feel good moment at the end too when you realize that Billy's still alive. So and it has a lot of good
Mhm.
action and I don't really like the story of that, like trying to go rescue the kid, but
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of quotable lines from that movie that I absolutely love.
You mean this?
Mm.
Alan.
Oh, fine. When you go
Like that?
Dinosaur.
Dr. Grant. Okay, when you go find that tricycle plot that comes chasing after you.
The dinosaur on the plane.
The
I was
dinosaur
like,
on
as
the
soon as I saw
plane.
that, I said, "This is gonna be really bad."
That's it.
Alan.
And now, you know, I think I might have to direct
It's
my
the
next
head
question
turn.
to Sean. Sean, you gave The Lost World a 3 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. What do you remember? What mindset were you in? Do you think when you gave it a 3 star out of 5?
Are you saying that that's too good or too bad?
I'm saying that's too high. That is what I'm saying. Yes.
Oh, did I write anything?
No, I'm gonna guess it was a while ago.
Oh gosh. Well, if I'm going
you
to
gave it-
guess,
Oh
yeah.
no, okay. You gave it 3 stars on August 10th, 2020. So 2 years ago, almost.
If I had to guess, I would say I was probably watching all of them in a row.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that probably like could have inflated it too, just coming off of, you know, the characters leading one right into the other type of thing. You said August 2020? Oh yeah, here
Yes.
we go. Here we
Yes.
go. Lost World 3 out of 5. Jurassic Park 3 out of 5. Yeah, it was. I was like, you know, I think I just was like, this is perfectly fine. This is a perfectly
Okay.
fine, okay, good
Mm-hmm.
movie. Looks like right here, just real quick, we got first Jurassic Park coming in 4.5 out of 5.
That's
Lost
a good
World
score.
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. Jurassic World 4 out of 5. Now where I think I'm losing it a little, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I have it at a 3.5 out of 5.
No.
Wow.
I
You
don't know
lost the
about
plot
that.
with that one.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that.
Now, since I've questioned both of you multiple times, I feel it is only fair that I give my opinion on these two movies as well. I think they both suck. They're both terrible. They should never have been made. I don't know what Spielberg was doing with the second one. Thank God he was like saved his career, you could say, by not doing the third one. Can you imagine if Spielberg had The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 on his resume? Would not be the resume it is. I'll tell you that right now. I'll say the second one, don't care about any of the characters. I think every time you put John Williams' score in there somewhere, you know how in the first one you're like, oh my God, like the dinosaurs. Every time in the second and third one, it's like, okay, dinosaurs. Yeah, we've seen them before. Like the score does nothing for me, doesn't hit like the first one. All the characters are no fun. That freaking vision of a raptor on in the third one where Sam Neill's like having a hallucination on the plane. What is that? Get a talking raptor. I mean, they're basically talking in the movie. In the third one, when he like has his little 3D printed conch thing and he's like blowing the thing, and then I think Macy's character says, "No, you have to call for help." Like he's gonna be able to do that with that thing. Give me a break. Come on. The best thing about that movie, I think, was probably that kid. That was my favorite thing about the movie. That was it. He survived. Although the family friend, he died. His skeleton was just hanging there by the glider. And I think the biggest thing about the second one too is all those scenes are so long. The movie's 2 hours 6 minutes. It feels like 3 hours. It feels like I turned on Lawrence of Arabia. That's how long it feels. And like the whole like bus thing when the T-Rexes are pushing the bus like off the thing, they only push it halfway. They don't push it the full way off the cliff. They said, whoa, wait a minute. We got to give these humans a chance. They gave us the T-Rex back. They gave us the baby back. So we're going to give them a chance. That was awful. And then the movie, it just like keeps going. You said you like the San Francisco thing. They literally get in the helicopter. Jeff Goldblum says, it's over. It's not over. There's another half an hour of the movie. Somehow there's another half an hour. You feel like you've been sitting there for 2.5 hours already.
Did you read the books by Michael Crichton?
What? No. Why would I do that?
They're really good books. And then
everybody says, although granted, I will give you this in the comments of something that video I saw, people were like, oh yeah, the movie like goes way off the book, but I'm watching a movie. I'm not, like they're not
fair. I agree.
So I'm not saying the book's bad. I'm saying the movie's bad.
No, I agree. I don't think the movie is anywhere near what the book was. But anyways, what about that Velociraptor part? What do you think about that? Like the whole running at night with the huge pack and trying to escape all the dinosaurs and the T-Rex and the Velociraptor.
Apparently they don't even like really run in packs.
I did not. No, I saw something about them actually doing that.
What movie are you talking about? The second or the third one? Sorry.
The second one, where they like are all in the tall grass and like the Velociraptors start picking them off one by one.
Oh yeah, that was so like.
That's great.
No, it's not. And the second one, the one dude, the like second in command guy of like the hunting group. They like were. I feel like he was gonna be a bigger character, and then he just dies. Like he doesn't mean anything. Like they were when the one guy's like, "Oh, you're in charge while I'm gone," and then they explode everything. They like blow everything up, and they come back and they're like, "Well, you're not in charge anymore." And then he wanders off to go take a pee, and he tells the guy, but the guy's listening to music in his headphones, and then he gets eaten by those little mini dinosaurs.
That said, oh my gosh, what's his name? The actor. He's in Doom and.
Which one are you talking about?
The second in command guy. He's.
Oh yeah, I don't know his name. I don't remember his character's name. Oh, Peter Stormare. I think that's him.
Yep.
Dieter Stark, right? Is that his name? The
Peter
character's name?
Stormare is like the guy from John Wick and stuff in Prison Break.
Well, that
Maybe
might
that's
be him.
it. I thought he had a different name, but maybe I'm.
And lastly, sorry, last thing I'll say, just this is about these movies in general, and this is the thing I've always said about Jurassic Park, is like at some point somebody has to realize that this is not a good idea. Like
that's always the argument.
We
But
cannot be. We cannot be. Nobody can be this naive. Like, guys, just leave the dinosaurs on the island. They're fine. You don't have to go investigate them. Like, they're fine. Just leave them. Like, I don't understand. And then people die, and then everybody's surprised.
Okay, can I? Because in the second one, there's a group from San Diego that are trying to take them back. So that's not really like them just going over there. The third movie is like a rescue mission for the kid who was just going on a trip and then accidentally comes in contact with them. So like, but like World, you got like they did it as like, oh, we're gonna make a new park, we're gonna make a new attraction, but we're gonna make sure we don't make the same mistakes John Hammond makes.
Yeah,
which is like fine, but then I feel like it's just such a repeat.
Yeah,
at least they have a lot of better.
You're not wrong because people like. That's what John Hammond probably thought when he was making the original park. He probably didn't think he was making any mistakes, and then
Fios
stuff
presents
happened.
the Indominus Rex, right?
Yeah,
That's great.
But like at least that movie has like a good like mid section because of how much is going on with the Indominus.
If we
Rex,
can
like,
kind of continue this to the first one, which I know a lot of people, some people refer to that as near perfect movie or favorite movies or whatever. And if it's your favorite movie, more power to you, all that. But like spare no expense. There's literally like 8 people working there. You notice that? He's like his whole thing is spare no expense.
And Newman is the guy.
And
he's underpaid. He's underpaid. That's the whole reason why he did it. Like
the Barbasol can.
Yeah, like I hate John Hammond so much. What an absolute loser.
I don't know. I just think they should have stopped with the first one, in my opinion. I just don't understand too, like how Steven Spielberg could unfortunately have messed that movie up so bad. I mean, maybe it wasn't just him.
He's had other duds. Like it's not.
No, I know, but like, you know, it's always hard to follow up like such a beloved movie. So. I guess I can't really blame him. No, he does not. He does not. I'm sorry, Brandon. I don't know how the San Francisco part of this movie is your favorite part of the movie. The movie should have ended. Where is the baby T-Rex? It's in a secure facility. It's in this open stadium labeled Jurassic Park. That's not a secure facility. Do you know what I'm talking about? At the end, when Jeff Goldblum and Julianne Moore's character are like, "Oh, we got to get the baby T-Rex to lead the big T-Rex back onto the ship," and the guy took the baby T-Rex from the island, and they're like, "Where's the baby T-Rex?" And he goes, "It's in a secure facility."
Oh yeah,
and the secure facility is this like makeshift Jurassic Park, just like an open coliseum, and it says Jurassic Park on the front. It looks like a coliseum. It's not a secure facility. I don't know where close. Well,
guys, dummy. Did you realize that he dies to that baby T-Rex?
Yeah, good. He should have. He was stupid.
Yeah,
he was just money hungry, dumb.
Guys, it looks like we got 5 or 6 people watching right now. Let us know, what do you think of the Jurassic World / Park movies? What are some of the best
right
ones,
and wrong
some of the worst ones? According to TJ, there is a definitive
first one,
right
4.5
answer.
Second one and third one are both 3.5. They're fine. They're rewatchable. They're good.
I'm just excited to get to rewatch.
Well, Brandon, what would you rate? Brandon, what would you rate? What would you rate World?
World, I think, is 3.5. I think it's on par with 2 and 3. And then I think that Fallen Kingdom's like a 1 to 2. It's terrible. I cannot rewatch that movie.
I would agree with you there. Like, I'd probably give World, like, from memory. Like, I've only seen it once, and that was when it came out. Probably give it like a 3 in there, and I think probably what is it? Fallen Kingdom.
Oh.
I'd probably give that in like the 2 range, maybe. I mean, the
It's
whole
so
laser
good.
thing. Like, come on.
The clones, like you're cloning children.
Where you could
like,
shoot
come
a
on.
dinosaur at somebody. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. That is exactly
But
what
it's
I'm
not
talking
Yeah,
just
and
the
then
laser; it's the sound it makes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for. Well, actually, let's drop a bit of news in here. I guess I was excited, very excited for Jurassic Park Dominion. You can go back a couple months or a couple weeks, couple months. I don't know. You can go back on the channel, on the PFN Live channel, and take a look at our summer movie preview. We both were very lukewarm on Top Gun Maverick. Like, oh yeah, let's see what
Oh
happens.
yeah.
One incredible film. But I particularly, I don't think TJ was too like really big anything on it, but I was really like excited for Jurassic World Dominion just to see how it ends, see what happens, see if I really want them to just like go, just like end it, just be like, yep, and then the dinosaurs killed everybody. Don't mess with science, people. Like, just end
Yep.
it with that. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to. It's probably going to be like a War of the Worlds, like, oh, but then after 100 years, the air got to them or something. You know what I mean? Like, we realize, oh, they can't actually live or something. They die of natural causes or something. Anything like that, whatever. But
Yeah.
we are now getting reports, first reactions, everything like that, out of some of the first critic screenings, and well, it is it's not good, not too good, not too good hearing from this movie. You got Colin Trevorrow coming back to direct after J.A. Bayona directed Fallen Kingdom, to I would say middling to less success, not box office wise. Box office wise, did very good. These movies all do. Jurassic World, you're looking at like 1.8 billion. Fallen Kingdom, 1.4 to 1.6 billion. I thought Jurassic World Dominion was a sure bet to hit $1 billion, just because, sure, the last movie really dipped in quality, but people can forgive a one movie dip in quality, and then especially you're bringing back the 3 originals back again for the first time ever since the first movie on screen, all 3 of them together, because they all 3 reprise their roles, but never at the same time until now, which is pretty cool. But nonetheless, we are getting word that at least critics wise, not too many people positive on it. What do you guys think of this? Were you even like really looking forward to it or hoping that it would be good, or were you just like, let's just see how they end it type of thing?
more the latter. I think it's just like I was just like, let's just see how he ends it. How they end it, I should say. Not much interest after what they did in Fallen Kingdom. I thought Fallen Kingdom had some promise at the start with Jeff Goldblum, but then that was just awful. So I'm and then I saw like the trailer for Dominion, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't even feel like Dr. Grant and them, and it doesn't even feel right. I thought it was going to be great because they were all back, like you said, but no.
Just wasn't there.
Yeah, I was pretty out on the newest one coming out. Still pretty out on it. I'm gonna see it because I'm rewatching these movies in anticipation, I guess. But I'm not expecting to be like, oh my god, this is like top 10 of the year, you know. I don't think it's gonna come anywhere close. But it'll probably make some money. It'll probably make some decent money, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. It just really bums me out that it probably isn't going to be that good, but what can you do? Let's see. What are your thoughts on Deadpool 3? Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick said, who of course worked on the script for the first one, then wrote the second Deadpool movie. They're hard at work writing Deadpool 3 at Marvel Studios right now, and they said in an interview that have no fear, basically, Disney has, basically all but confirmed and assured them personally, they're not going to mess with the Deadpool formula, and they're going to keep it rated R and everything, and that Kevin Feige has the direct quote that they said about Feige was, Kevin Feige has seen the magic and the potential of the Deadpool movies, and he's not one to mess with success. So are you guys happy with this? Do you think that like a PG-13 Deadpool could have worked or would have worked or whatever, or do you think it's got to be R, kind of to be like intrinsic to the character, or at the very least to the Ryan Reynolds, the new Ryan Reynolds version of it or whatever?
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna go R with this one, and I think if they go R, like they'll kind of go like all the way with it. Like you could do a lot, I feel like, at a PG-13 rating too. You could do a lot at a PG-13 rating, and not make it R. I feel like, for example, like I feel like not Doctor Strange couldn't have like easily been R, but like Doctor Strange has some like pretty like graphic imagery, and it stayed PG-13. So I think I mean Deadpool is obviously like different in a way where he's just chopping off limbs and swearing and making like crude jokes. But I think like since they have the green light to go with an R rating on it, I think they'll probably go all the way with it.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's a question I have, and Brandon, you probably won't be able to answer this, but since the last Deadpool movie, because you got to remember, it's now been well over 4 years, and by the time we get Deadpool 3, it'll probably be pushing 6 years, if not 5 years since the last Deadpool movie. One big thing that has come in and kind of changed the definition of an R-rated superhero thing is The Boys. So, TJ, do you think that maybe not the tone and the language and everything, I don't think they're going to go that overboard with like some of the language used in The Boys, but some of that more, graphic, like visceral violence and stuff, do you think that you could see something like that in like a Deadpool movie? The way that kind of The Boys portray, on The Boys, really they make you remember that pretty much every single human is just kind of a bag filled with various parts and liquid. So like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you think that you could even see the action and kind of the gore ratcheted up just because things like The Boys have come along and said, hey, you could do more than, a bullet exploding out of a head. You could do a lot more than that. So I think it would be cool to see that. I feel like Disney won't go, even though they said it'd be rated R. I think you can still limit yourself within a rated R. You know what I mean? But what do you think on that kind of darker violence in it?
No, yeah, I agree. I don't think obviously they'll go as far as The Boys because The Boys is a streaming show, so it's not like they're expecting like families and stuff to go watch it. But I think they'll push as far as they can, and I think they'll have a lot of creative ways that they maybe kill different people, which I think could be really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think I would love to see that. Also, because it's streaming. I mean, The Boys, yeah, it's rated 18 and plus. That's what it's rated, but it's like really that means there kind of is no limit. It's like it really is kind of just a not rated show essentially. Which is just pretty crazy, but I mean, yeah, I think it'd be interesting nonetheless. But Brandon, what do you think about Deadpool being rated R? Or do you think it could work outside of that?
No, I don't think. I think Deadpool's main draw is that it's rated R and that it has like the fourth wall breaking style with all the different modes of comedy that you don't typically get into a superhero movie. But yeah, I can't really speak on The Boys, and I don't know the context that you guys are talking about with that. But aside from that, I don't, like I said, think that we could have a successful Deadpool movie if it's not rated R and has the same kind of feel. I felt like they didn't. They were like trying too hard, but also didn't do enough in the second movie to get to where the first one was and how good, what made the first one so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the second one maybe had a better story, but then that kind of led to everything else kind of lacking, kind of slipping a little bit, because you introduce things like, well, I don't even know if maybe I would say a better story. I would just say it had more of a conventional story, because the first one was more just basically they took, his girl, gotta go get her back type of thing. It's in a little bit of revenge along the way. The second one was setting up all the Cable stuff, diving into the time travel, diving into more of the kind of linking him even more to the X-Men. In the second one, he even is an X-Men, actually. I forgot about that whole scene, that he's like an X-Men in training. I thought that was very funny. Actually, that whole kind of scene of that movie kind of does remind me of The Boys a little bit, with like the government, like him kind of trying to work within that system was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be very interesting, nonetheless, to see what happens with that. But let's talk a little Stranger Things, because I'm sure we'll talk on Wednesday's show, probably go even more in depth with some of our maybe deeper spoiler thoughts, just because Brandon doesn't care about spoilers. But, we will be probably touching on some light spoilers for some of the later episodes of season 4. But we'll see. But TJ, overall, where does this season stack up for you? Is it working for you? Do you have any issues with it?
No, it really I am I would say for this season so far, I am pleasantly surprised. That we have a lot of different intersecting storylines, I think, that I don't think maybe all of them are interesting. And the main one I'm talking about is the Mike and Mike and Will. Yeah, the California group storyline. To me, that one is not that interesting. And I think the last 2 episodes too, we don't even get them. Like, you don't even see them again. Because you get, the government breaking into the house, and then that's it. I feel like they're driving, and then they have that little talk, I think, later in the episode, where they find out the number and what the coordinates are, and then it's just them. It's them driving away, and I think that's the last you get from them for the season, or the part 1 of the season. But the storyline I probably find I'm most interested in is the like Nancy, Steve, Dustin, Lucas like storyline. I find that really interesting. I find it interesting that it seems like they're kind of pointing that maybe Steve and Nancy might be get back together at some point, which I think would be kind of, that'd be an interesting dynamic between the two of them, and then Jonathan, and when he comes back. And I'd say like the Joyce, like Hopper storyline is like, it's interesting, but I feel like it takes like they kind of reset themselves. Like they would, like when they have the flight there, and then it's like, well, we have the flight, but then we get kidnapped, but then like, so, it's just like, we're almost there, but then we get thrown back in jail or something like that. Like, it's like, oh no, it's like, oh, we just ended up back where we were. So I'd say that one is that one's interesting, but like, it's not, I don't think, as enthralling. And what is I'm missing one. What is like the 4th one?
We'll circle.
The 11 one.
Yeah,
the 11 one.
If you go ahead. Sorry, give your thoughts on the whole lab.
I'd probably
stuff.
take that back. Where I'd probably say like the 11 storyline is probably my second most interesting one.
Oh, I thought you were about to say least interesting.
No,
I was about to have some fighting words. I was like,
no,
really?
I would say like, because I really like Steve as a character, and I love Nancy as a character, and Lucas and Dustin and all those people. So I think that's why I'm more interested in them, because I really like those characters and I like to see how they interact. But I'd probably say 11 is probably that storyline is probably my second ranked. Even though when what's his
Brenner?
Stan Owens showed up, I was like, who the hell is that? Because it's been so long, so
Yeah.
I don't remember. And then like obviously he helped them. I think it's season 2 and 3 is
Mhm.
it was. So that kind of jogged my memory a tad. Um, but I'll tell you what, the twist, I feel I want to say I saw it coming, but I really didn't. I thought maybe like for a split second, but that immediately like left my mind. But I thought what the Duffer Brothers were able to do with that and building up the two sides of this character, I thought they
Yes.
did an excellent job.
Yes, I agree 100%. I feel like even with what you just said, I feel like that's even as
Mhm.
far as we need to go into like a spoiler realm
Mhm.
because we could talk full on spoilers on Wednesday, I
Mhm.
feel like. But yes, the exact way that you just put that, kind of building up the two sides of this almost the three sides if you
Mhm.
include the younger version, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean, who we get a
Mhm.
couple of looks into throughout the season, but then obviously the main version and then the main version that we get of that character, which also huge shout out to the design, the prosthetic department, the visual effects department
Mm.
for
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's a very famous actor. You know what I mean? Like they really covered they really covered it up, which I thought was really fantastic. But yeah, and then I've seen a few people that are like, it doesn't really work for me, or even I've seen some people say which baffles me, oh, why do they have to connect it all the way back to the first thing? Can't it just be like, not whatever? And I'm like,
Mhm.
that was the best part, was that as soon as you
Yeah.
get the reveal and kind of the twist, that now you're having almost a full 4 seasons of storytelling suddenly like click into place.
Mhm.
And like you said, what the Duffer Brothers were able to do, the fact that they did kind of almost in a sense close a circle that had been open since the very beginning of the show, or at least maybe not close it, but at least really start to fill in some major answers.
Right.
I loved. I was losing it. I loved all that stuff. So for me, I'll go. The last thing I'll say on it, and then we're gonna talk some big Kenobi here. Um, I'll give a little rank to the storylines, and my thoughts on it. But first, I just want to say my only real problem with this season, which is a very minor problem because I'll go ahead and say it, I'd have to rewatch the whole show, but this might be the best season, definitely without a doubt the best season since the first season. Like
I'd
in
probably
my
agree with that.
yeah, in my because we always talk about. I feel like the entire time we've been doing the Planet
Mhm.
Film Network, I feel like we've randomly every few months we wind up talking about the seasons of Stranger Things. Like I feel like we've done that however many times, and we always
Yeah.
say the same thing, that it's like 1 phenomenal, 2 not so much, 3 a little bit up but not quite there yet. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
This, I feel like they really were just like, all right, we've heard your criticisms. Here's this. We're going to punch you with some great riveting storytelling and character work and stuff. But that being said, the only thing that really doesn't work for me is just the Empire Strikes Backness of it all, of splitting everybody up into these multiple things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're gonna converge again.
Right.
Everyone's gonna be together by the end of the show, or by the end of the finale.
But
But
they're
for
at their
me,
best when they're together.
absolutely, and that's why for
Yeah.
me, I hope we see this season end with, I feel like, a few deaths, just simply to give us a nice tight knit group again, a little smaller, a little less characters going into the final season of this show. I think if they can really end this season strong, give us the group dynamic that always works so well, like the fact that we haven't had, Hopper really interact with any of the kids yet. That feels like such a core element to the show that's been missing this year. But also, you're gonna get it again, unless something awful happens and they really just
Right.
want to like destroy our emotions. But that you're gonna get that moment
Mhm.
with Hopper and 11 seeing each other again and stuff. But I just want to get there. But in terms of the things, I
Yeah.
agree with you almost 100%. I would say definitely California Crew, bottom of the list. Not because I don't like those characters, because the show just feels like they're kind of treading water. The Alaska
Yeah.
and Russia stuff, I love Murray. I love Joyce. I love Hopper. I even love Enzo, the new guy, the guard there, played by Jack and Hagar, the man with no name from
Yes,
Game
the
of
man
Thrones.
with no. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think that was great. Actually, genuinely pretty funny in this show too. That one I don't hate though. I just very much like you. I'm like, all right, he's gonna get out. Oh, then he gets sent back. Oh, he's got this plan, but then it didn't work out. You know, they do that like 4 times.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to see that move on, which it looks like it will be, which is great. And then, honestly, for me, it's almost a tie. It's almost just I don't even care with the top 2. The Hawkins storyline, whether you want to just call it the Vecna storyline in Hawkins, with everything that is entailed in that, or even if you want to break it up into specifically, you know, we have Robin and Nancy's little adventure, we have Nancy and Steve, we have all these little, and then just Dustin, Max, and Lucas, you know, but kind of putting it all together is great. And then almost I feel like it's only fair to kind of put her in her own section. Everything that Sadie Sink is doing as Max this year is, I mean, she's just, this is absolutely her big season with the writers that have been, you know, giving her a bunch of stuff to do. And then I am really, really digging the 11 storyline. All that. I really, really like that with the person the surprise person that comes back, that is revealed. Very, first shot of the new season. Or first person you see in the new season. I think that he is doing some great work. I think that they did a lot of heavy lifting with his character to make us like him, because part of the reveal is realizing, oh, maybe this person didn't do all these bad things. Maybe someone just told 11 that they did. That was so cool to me because for years, us as an audience, we've had this perception of this character of, oh, F that guy. That guy is a piece of crap. And then you're like, oh, no, someone just lied about all that. And she believed it because she's a little kid. And I thought that was so genuinely earned by the show. But yeah, I'm loving Stranger Things season 4 so far. Both of us are. So really excited for volume 2.
Just to get Brandon here real quick. Brandon, what did you think of like the first episode? What was your impression?
Pretty crazy. I didn't think that show was capable of that. I've watched the first episode of the first season. I was like, oh, just little kids like doing whatever. But then I watched the first episode of season 4. I didn't really quite understand what was going on, but then that ending was quite serious, and I was like, all right, well maybe I should watch it. And like all my friends and everybody that do watch it are all recommending it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get to it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. This season so far is probably the most horror as well out of any of the other previous ones.
For sure.
But yeah, so let's move on to Kenobi episode 3.
Hello there.
I'll start with Brandon here, I guess. Brandon, what was your impression of the episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
I thought it was pretty good. Just pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay.
I feel like I'm in the camp of not being as high on it as most others are. The ending of the episode really takes away. I still think the second episode in the series is the best by far.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think
the second you said?
Yeah. But I think that the third one, I have a couple problems with it, but we can go into that. But that's just my initial takeaway from it the 2 times that I've watched it.
Oh, so you've watched episode 3 twice?
I try to watch both of them, like each. I mean, I try to watch
twice?
each episode twice just to like make sure I don't miss anything.
TJ?
No.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought this episode is probably my favorite. I think right now. I love the introduction. This is full spoilers, by the way. Right? Yeah, that came out a week ago at this almost.
Yeah.
I love the introduction of Vader into the episode. I loved every part he was on. I know, Sean, you mentioned it to me, and I 100% agree. The voice was digitized, and it sounded amazing.
Yes.
Daniel Jones's voice. Um, I love the interaction with Kenobi and Leia on the little kind of bus thing that they were on. I love that Kenobi like could not keep it, inside himself, that like where they were going. Like Leia's was such a much better, like, you say liar, I guess, than ObiWan was. And I thought this episode was really good at showing that ObiWan is very out of practice.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of saw it in the second episode, I feel like a little bit, but this episode, when he faces off versus Vader, you could clearly see who the more powerful person is, as well as even just like he's brutal too. Like when he's walking down the street and he just snaps that person's neck. I was like, this is like Rogue One Vader. That's immediately what I was thinking. But yeah, I thought this is a fantastic episode.
Mm-hmm. Even more violent than Rogue One, even because like in chat, Michelle says, "Love the scene with Darth Vader walking down the street. I had chills. Poor Obi-Wan, scared shitless." Yeah, I mean when he's walking down that street, and you're like, they really answer the question like, all right, well, it's a Disney Plus show, Book of Boba Fett and Mando. They get dark, but it's a lot of like blaster kills and knee rockets and stuff like that. It's like this is there. I mean, I watched this one. I watched the episode twice, and then I rewatched like the back 20 minutes again. And that when he force slams like the merchant or whoever up against the wall, you're like, oh shit. Then the merchant's son, small son, teenage son, comes out and goes, Dad. Vader slams him and then cracks his neck, snaps his neck. A kid in this show.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay. I mean, they're not showing blood and stuff, but you don't have to with the Force. There's very little blood in Star Wars because, whether it's the Force or whether it's a lightsaber cauterizing the wound, it's, but nonetheless, it can be very violent.
Yeah.
They really
that
glad
one
they went that.
Stormtrooper in half too. With the fence.
Yeah, that kind of set it up to begin with, and I love that guy, he didn't have like the Wilhelm scream, but it was like a modern version of it where he was just kind of like like I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Not screaming no more though. Yikes! But yeah, I just really loved how they used Vader in this episode. Just from starting, even everything on Mustafar, first of all, I thought was fantastic and great, and they did come out and they said that the suit wearing is basically kind of like Mando, where it's for kind of impactful, almost acting like head movement, stuff like that. That is Hayden. Hayden is in that is in it. They basically said he's in the top half suit, so not full body shots. And then just like Mando, when it's not Hayden, there is a physical performer, and then there's a stunt performer as well. So it kind of varies, but all three of them, the fact that just like Mando, it's kind of seamless with what they're doing. The kind of, it's not even swagger, it's the forced mechanical movement, the way that he walks because he has fake limbs is perfect. I mean, it looks so good. Kind of the way it almost looks like when he's almost walking like from his hips, because that's like where he has the most control. It's fantastic. I think not only is the voice fantastic with that Reese-Beecher like AI, but the actual physical performance of Vader is great too. And I love that they just treat him like a horror villain. Like they shoot him like he's Michael Myers throughout most of the episode, which I think is fantastic. But Brandon, what were some of your like standout moments or whatever, what you loved about it?
So I'm not gonna I'm gonna talk more about this, and it's not so much of what I love. There were a few issues that I had with that whole thing, and why I disagree with a lot of people on this. Up until where they confront each other, Vader is, like you said. I feel like, and we've had this talk with my brother and myself and a couple of our friends, but the originals, Vader seems more iconic. Like they wanted to make him more iconic. Since then, he's a lot more demonic and like that villain that you needed him to be. And we talked about how like in his first like instance where he's still Anakin Skywalker but becomes Darth Vader, he kills the younglings, but he kills them off script or off screen, I should say. And then this is on screen where he cracks his neck. And so like that was like that's what we need to see from Vader, not just like this assumption that he kills all the younglings. So that was great. I have an issue with their whole fight scene. I felt as though it was shot.
Yeah, you're not alone in that either.
Yeah, it's too dark, and I like how like there's a lightsaber between the two, but like I would like to see a little bit more. It feels very dreamlike. It felt like when Luke is in Dagobah and he sees Darth Vader walking in, it felt like the way they shot it felt very much like it was a dream at first, and then I do understand the irony between him putting ObiWan in the fire. I didn't really care for that, though. I didn't think they needed that. And the last thing, the thing that stood out to me the first time I watched it. So this is all this other stuff is like the second time I watched it, and I was like, yeah, I don't really like that. I don't really like that. First time I watched it, Darth Vader has been hunting Jedi, and this is like the one Jedi he hates the most. And it just did not seem like he was as angry as he should have been. He's swiping with one arm. He's way more powerful than Obi-Wan at this point. He's been hunting Jedi for 10 years. And then he's just like so calm and collected. Like I would expect angry Anakin Skywalker style Darth Vader, like him full-blown attacking and Obi-Wan in complete defense and just trying to stay alive, like a complete survival mode. I thought that would have been a better option than just like him just like using one arm and just slamming his lightsaber over and over again.
Right.
I do understand. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to not counter that, but to quote the Joker, it's like a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do with it once I actually caught it. And I feel like, to me, and this is just to me, because Star Wars, all film is subjective and everything, but especially Star Wars, you can view it through whatever lens you want. You could have your own imprint on whatever you're seeing, but for me, that just goes to the Anakin of it all. Jibby Blobashlu, the Jedi that he's been hunting on Kashyyyk for a year. When he catches him, he's like, gotcha, wiped out, that kind of stuff. But I mean, this is Obi-Wan. This is the man who, for the past 30 however many years, has literally defined his life. Yes, obviously that happened, but also I like specifically in the second fire when he just lets him go. And I rewatched that when I rewatched the last 20 minutes. I did it just a few hours ago. It holds on Vader for a long time, and that is not. I've seen some people being like, "Well, he just put the fire out before. Why can't he just put it out again and then grab him and stuff?" And I'm like, that's not the point. You can tell he's staring at it, like thinking about what his next move should be, because it's like, I think he wants to kill Kenobi. But like he himself says, first you're going to suffer. And also to Vader, yeah, let him go. I'll get him again. And also, I always was under the assumption, this is just how I view A New Hope and everything. So prior to this series, because there's a lot, and I'm not saying that you're one of these people. I'm just saying a lot of people were like, well, that they can't meet. They haven't met since Mustafar. Well, if they haven't met since Mustafar, they're pretty chill. They're pretty calm when they meet each other in A New Hope. They're talking. You know what I mean? It's not like he's, and now granted they're both older and stuff, you know, so the passion might not be like as red hot as it would have been, you know, even in this show 10 years out, you know, it's double the time, literally twice the amount of time has passed. But you know, it's not like he's like, you know, he says, you know, now, you know, you will die and stuff like that, and then, you know, I will destroy you. And then, you know, if you strike me down, like they're trying to kill each other. Like they know they're in a fight to do that, but they're like mentally and emotionally sparring with each other too. So I feel like, just for me, I thought that fit with kind of how, I guess you want to say, reasonable Vader was being with him, is because it's like, I think he wants to savor every moment of it. Like, selfish Anakin is like, no, all these things I'm going to make him hear what I have to say to him, and then I'm going to make him suffer, and then finally, you know, I'll put you out of your misery type thing. That's just the way that I read it. That's just the way that I interpret it. But I can totally see with, like, you know, this guy, he's filled with hate every day about what he did to him. Like, why would he not just, like, absolutely go after him, like, immediately? But yeah.
Yeah, I just, like I said, seeing Anakin in 3 and how he reacts to him on Mustafar, and like how he has that like turning moment and they go after each other and he just like violently attacks him. So I guess I'm trying to connect it more to 3 than I do New Hope, and I guess that's where you bring up the point of like what they are like in New Hope, and you can kind of side with that. So I guess that is understandable, and you kind of try to make that transition. Maybe it's just the fan of me wanting that whole dynamic of him, like you said, even the Joker quote is like perfect. Like he finally gets to capture the dog or capture the bus or whatever it is, or he finally gets Obi-Wan. And I just feel like he was just way too calm knowing Anakin. But I guess maybe after 10 years, like whatever has happened, I thought, like, I've also heard the whole fire thing and whatever, like when he like can like put it out, he puts it out before, and like the girl shoots it, and why can't he put it out again? That I don't have a problem with, because like you said, like I think he's like calculating, trying to torture Obi-Wan. But like, I also wish, I know TJ had prefaced this and we had talked about this in our review of 1 and 2, I just wish Obi-Wan wasn't as helpless. Like, he's going against Darth Vader, which is fine, but like it just feels like they were just unequipped with the lightsabers. Like, Vader's with one hand, Obi-Wan looks like he hasn't held a lightsaber ever in his life. Not forget 10 years, but like ever in his life. Like, he was just like, and I get like it's shock factor, whatever. And I can like hear all these understanding arguments. It's more of like what I wanted from it. And I knew they were going to meet again. I'm not one like, oh, well, they haven't met since Mustafar, like you brought up, Sean. But I thought that like the first encounter, like I said, was just going to be like Darth Vader completely all-out attack. Obi-Wan barely escapes by just being super defensive and cunning like he is, and then eventually getting away with the help of other people. But I just wanted more, I guess. And that's why I'm not as high. I thought it was a good episode. Like, I really enjoyed the first half of it, like you said, with the whole Leia and Obi-Wan interaction with the deceit of the stormtroopers and everything and all that. But like, I just wanted so much more after the end of the second
and
episode.
I think we're still gonna get more. I think I don't think they're done at all. But judging the episode,
I just
for the
wanted
episode.
it so bad. Like, I was just like, give it to me. Like, Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader. But yeah,
something I did really like about this episode, and I don't know, because I felt like it was a lot of there was a lot of theories before the show came out. It's like, oh, are they gonna do some like flashbacks or anything? And we're already halfway through the season or through the series, and we haven't had anything like that. And we got like one glimpse of Hayden, just like regular Hayden, like just dressed in robes, which I thought was cool. And I hope we get kind of like more of that, because like, you know, I just feel like Hayden Christensen, I feel like deserves like a little bit of maybe a redemption with some, you know, a better director directing him on how to perform. And I think maybe this show could give him that.
And
but
I
I'm
think
starting
we're
to
gonna
become.
get that.
I hope so, because I feel like I'm starting to lose a little faith in that after 3 episodes and not really getting any, just like Hayden Christensen FaceTime, just him behind the mask.
Well, we
Um,
got that. We got that like 2.5 seconds.
Yep, 2.5 seconds where he was staring into ObiWan's eyes, and that was
Well,
about
no,
it.
and the 1 second when he opens his eyes in the back of the tank, and then the other 1 second
Mm.
when the helmet goes on him. So we've gotten like
Oh,
5 seconds of Hayden
You've got
Christensen.
yeah.
So I don't want to hear it.
And something I said to Brandon, I probably said to you, Sean, and we've probably talked about this a million times, and I know it'd probably be like a retread, but if we could get just again like another, like if we could get an Ahsoka type moment like in Rebels when she hits the face mask off and you see like the half and a half, like if we could get that in live action, I think that'd be so cool. I know it'd probably be like a retread, but I don't know. I think it means a lot for those two characters. I think for Obi-Wan to have that moment, and then Ahsoka already had that moment. But I think that'd be really cool. What did you guys think of the Empire sympathizer Freck, played by Zach Braff?
Piece of shit. But one of the most realistic Star Wars characters I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they would do what they did, and like he would, since he is a part of like
Nothing wrong with a little order, if you ask me.
Yeah,
like
I
okay.
was really hoping he would turn on him. Like that was what when I saw that he was going through. I was like, yes, like this is what I want. I don't want some kind of like cheap out like they did 2 minutes later with the Imperial Guard turning on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
why
I
thought.
Oh yeah.
Exactly that. Like when he first pulled up, I was like, "Oh, this seems like a nice guy." And it's funny too because Obi-Wan at first is like, "Oh, we can't trust these people. You can't trust anybody out here." And Leia's like, "Oh no, he's fine." And then immediately, like he's proven right when he like goes to the back and he sees the Empire like flag, and it's like, "Oh, here we go. Like this is gonna be a thing."
Somebody said that was literally like hitchhiking and getting into it like an F-150 and seeing that they have like a Confederate flag bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Like literally like that. And it was even shot like that too. Like it was so great. But I love, like you said, they both proved each other right and wrong in this episode because he was right not to trust Freck, but if he had just stayed if he had just trusted Camille Nanjiani's character and just stayed and waited for the contact, all of this could have been avoided. But because he didn't trust it, he was like, no, come on, no one's coming. This is a waste of time. And granted, it's not like he left immediately. They said that like they had been waiting a few hours, but it's like, if he had just stuck with it, she was on her way type of thing. So, I thought that was very interesting too.
Yeah. Can you enlighten me? And we haven't talked about Tala, who I thought was great. Indira Varma, who Game of Thrones fame. She's been in a few other things, I think. But when who I thought again was great in this episode. But when she takes him to the like hideout kind of thing, and he name drops that one person, who was that?
Quinlan Voss.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Gotcha.
He goes,
all right. I couldn't remember exactly. Yeah, right. Again, I thought that was great. And I thought that droid too. Another example of the whole droid being lesser than humans in the Star Wars world. Another little add on to that when they said he can't speak and they're like, why can't he speak? And I think she says like, because nobody would care what he had to say. And I was like, damn. That hits hard.
I saw some crazy people think that like a person's in that droid.
Oh.
People think that it's like a suit, that it's like going to be some character reveal.
It does look like a sort of mech type thing, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely see it, but at the same time, I'm just like, I think he's just a big droid. I think he's just a big droid. We haven't seen O'Shea Jackson Jr. yet. Is that where he is? That's what I was going to ask you guys next, because a lot of people are starting to think maybe O'Shea Jackson Jr. could be playing Quinlan Voss.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And
I
the
think-
really only thing that
yeah.
doesn't add up with that is just the ages. But I mean, you could always that doesn't really matter at all. But because O'Shea Jackson Jr. is probably like 30, and Quinlan would probably be like around the same age as ObiWan, like in his 40s at this point.
Oh yeah.
So I think it
He's
would
mostly
still work.
books, right? Am I wrong? on that?
He's mostly in Clone Wars, and then he
Okay.
was in Phantom Menace for like one shot,
Right,
and then
like in the
mainly Clone
in the
Wars, and then he
behind,
has
in the
and then he has Dark Disciple with him and Asajj Ventress. He's got a whole
Oh, okay.
thing where he tried to kill Dooku, but then he's turned to the dark side, but then Asajj, brought him back or whatever.
Yeah.
But a very deep connection with Obi-Wan, which is interesting.
I also enjoyed Reva very more this episode. I thought she was Moses Ingram did a great job in this episode. I thought they really I just I feel like this whole thing with Moses Ingram and people like saying racist things, I think is complete ridiculousness, and I don't know how you can call yourself a fan of anything if you do that. And it's also sickening how Lucasfilm or Disney had to be like, oh yeah, you're gonna get racist comments. Like that's ridiculous. But I thought she was great in this episode. Not that she wasn't great in the first two episodes. I just wasn't that big of a fan of the character in the first two episodes. But I found her to be more enjoyable in the third one. The only thing that does not track in this episode is how she gets to the other side of the tunnel before Leia can get out. That's the only thing that doesn't make any sense.
Yes, no, I agree.
She
with
just
that.
teleports to the end. That doesn't make any sense. But other than that, I thought, it was a great episode. And I thought, for me, like the whole kind of Obi-Wan Vader fight, I did really like how I thought the lightsabers looked fantastic. In like the dark and with the backdrop of the night. I thought that was so cool. And I took the whole kind of him dragging him through the fire as a kind of like, let me do to you what you did to me. And that's how I took it. Which I think was just really cool. And again, I think like you said, like he's letting him go, and it's the same thing with like the Joker. It's like if I caught him, like what would I do? Like it's the chase. It's not the once the capture's over. It's like, well, maybe it takes away a little bit of the fun. But I am so excited to see what the next kind of fight they're gonna have between them is. I think it'll be so cool.
Yeah, I think you have to have one last send off.
Yeah.
And we have to still get to the Obi-Wan once thought as you do, that there's still good in him with, because in episode 3, it's not Obi-Wan going, there's still good in you, Anakin, come back with me type of thing. That's Padme telling him after all of that, telling him, there's still good in him. Trust me, there's still good in him type of thing. And, we still have to get that moment. So I guess we can wrap up today with, I'll give my quick thoughts on kind of where I think the series in general might be going. And then I want to hear that from the two of you guys, and then we can call it a day here. But I think, and is it a trope now at this point in Star Wars? Yes. Did we just get so much of it in Book of Boba Fett? Yes. But I think it's time for a flashback to scene. Because Obi-Wan is in some need of healing. So throw him in a back-to-tank and give me some good Clone Wars flashbacks next week, I think would be great. Or Clone Wars flashbacks or like Force visions or communicating with the Force. But I think where we're going with this is whether it's in episode 4 or 5 or even 6, but I doubt it'd be 6. That'd be pretty late. I think you're finally going to have the breakthrough moment of him getting in contact with Qui-Gon telling him, you can't give up on this. As much as your mission is to Luke and Leia, your mission is still to Anakin. If he's in there, if there is a chance, you can't just turn your back on him, And I think it's going to be one of those things that even though he has already faced it, that he's made mistakes and stuff, he's like, I made mistakes or whatever. But Obi-Wan still has really yet to own up to, or that we've seen, I'll say. Maybe he has already, but that we've seen in the show, he goes, yes, I've made mistakes, but he hasn't really fessed up to it's the way, other things too, but most importantly, it's the way he communicated with and the way he treated Anakin for most of their time together that really could have avoided this. And I feel like Qui-Gon's going to have that moment with him of, listen, you share responsibility for this. You might not like to hear it, but you share responsibility for this. If not the creation of Darth Vader, you didn't finish the job. You've left, you've left this wound open for 10 years. Right. You have to try and close it. You can't just run from it. I just love that about Star Wars. I love the whole kind of dichotomy of how to confront fear. You have the Yoda approach of, be mindful of it, be ready for it, do everything you can for it. And then you have the Qui-Gon approach of, you just have to face it. You just have to embrace the fear with open arms, but what you can't do is run and hide from it, which is basically what Yoda did and is doing currently on Dagobah. That's kind of what he did. Is same thing with Luke, and same thing with Obi-Wan. But the difference is now this is Obi-Wan facing it, coming out of it. And I think that that's going to be a huge part of the finale. And then I think that's when you're going to get then Obi-Wan seeks out Anakin. Maybe I don't know if I guess maybe you guys can touch on this. I don't know if the fight should be on Mustafar again. That might be a little on the nose, but
yeah.
It can't be on Tatooine. So I don't know where you would have it, but somewhere, I think they are going to fight again, and I think that'll be your big climactic thing. Then you probably get another closing out moment with Qui-Gon, probably. That's where I think. But I think you're going to have a big flashback. Oh my God, this is what Anakin meant to me, or at least a couple snippets from the prequels again. But I agree with you, if they just do these snippets from the prequels the whole season, it does kind of feel like you're wasting Hayden then. You bring him in, why not film new material with just the two of them? But yeah, that's kind of where I think I see things going. What about you, TJ? And then we can close out with Brandon.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think we're definitely going to get, obviously, Liam Neeson at some point, whether that is like full ghost form or just voice form remains to be seen. But yeah, I think it's going to end with this big kind of climactic battle, which, again, I hope is really, really cool. And I hope we get some sort of flashback. Or flashbacks. I know you brought up maybe like live action Clone Wars scenes. I think that'd be really cool. But at least just some way to get Hayden's face in front of the camera, because I just feel like he deserves it. And I'm excited to see what they've come up with, and who to see O'Shea Jackson Jr. is, because 3 episodes in, we don't know who he is.
Yeah.
So it should be a cool reveal. What about you, Brandon?
Sean, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth, the whole Qui-Gon thing. I think that it needs to happen. I think that they put too much time and effort throughout the first 3 episodes to really get that moment, and I think that this whole build-up throughout storytelling is going to be of this moment of realization of Obi-Wan now owning the faults and the I don't know, like the burden of what happened to Anakin, like you said.
The responsibility, I would say.
Yeah, like all that, just like the failures of not like training him right, and then getting into the whole fight at the end. I do think there's going to be like that feel good moment of Obi-Wan maybe getting the upper hand a couple times on Vader, because he finally overcomes like that idea that he can't just sit back and be scared anymore of his failures. And then just like what happens in Luke in Last Jedi, like you have that like feel good moment, even though it doesn't turn out the best scenario, like him overcoming Vader. He does get the upper hand. He does get away. He does go back into hiding, and then like give me a little bit of interaction with Luke a little bit more, or Owen, or any of that, and then that's probably where you can leave it. But I'm super looking forward to if they actually bring in Liam Neeson and have him play as that like role. If that happens in episode 4 or 5, I don't know. Like that's gonna be my favorite episode,
Mm-hmm.
like by far.
Yeah.
What if you get Clone Wars flashbacks in episode 4 or 5 though, but then the flashbacks themselves are edited in with other footage from the prequels as they're fighting each other, and it's super emotional? Would that then be your favorite episode?
That's really good too. I think Liam Neeson, like a Liam Neeson cameo, would be absolutely just off the chain. With like,
I'd even love another, because it not only yes, it happens twice in the novel Brotherhood by Mike Chen, which I've talked about like a bunch of times on the channel, which is fantastic. Of Qui-Gon calling out to Anakin, and then of course you get the main one in Attack of the Clones after the Tusken Raider village scene, with him going, Anakin, that's confirmed. That literally was Qui-Gon in that moment calling out to Anakin in that moment, and Anakin heard that voice, which I think is great. I would love for even Qui-Gon, show me a moment where Darth Vader is sitting there, or is about to, hunt down Obi-Wan or attack Obi-Wan or something, and let me hear, Liam's voice say, Anakin, there is another path, or something like that, just even something like that, and then him to just like storm off. I would just love a
and
moment
even
like
quote
that.
from the first movie, like when he's like talking to him about like,
Yeah.
or like when Anakin remembers that he says he wants to be the first person to see all the galaxies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or like or all the planets that he does in the first one. Like anything like that conversation comes back to him, or anything. I think that would be.
I just really want Vader to say, Master, what are midi-chlorians? I think that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, I will say I am definitely loving the show overall so far. I think people that were going, oh, this is going to be the best thing since Empire Strikes Back and all of Star Wars. Oh my God. I think it's fantastic. I think that's a lot of pressure to put on anything. And I think we're only halfway through the show. So whether it is or isn't, really what we have so far is irrelevant to that question, because the next 3 could come out. They could be fantastic. We could find out that these first 3 were the 3 best of the series. Maybe that was their big rematch, and Vader and Obi-Wan never crossed paths again, and it's all about him finding where he parked his EOP for the remaining 3 episodes. I don't know. But we will be covering it on the channel for sure, whether it'll be on PFN Live or doing kind of one of these other outside live streams. Just, doing whatever we got to do to cover it for you guys. But yeah, do you guys have any final thoughts or final things you want to say about the show or about anything before we head out?
No, I'm okay.
Keep it coming with all the good stuff.
Boom. There you go. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, this year, just these past few months, we got Doctor Strange 2, Morbius, we got, The Boys, Ozark, Better Call Saul, Severance, Miss Marvel coming out. Oh my God,
Maverick.
Miss Marvel literally coming out
Top Gun, yep.
in 2 days. Wait, what the hell are we going to do? Wednesday's the first day ever on Disney Plus where there's going to be a new live action Marvel and a new live action Star Wars show on the same day. Man, they got to do something. They got to move it to 9 p.m. Eastern, or at least 9 p.m. Pacific. You got to help us out on the East Coast. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us in this live stream here. I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Make sure, mainly the thing I'm going to tell you, make sure to follow us at the official PFN on Twitter, on Instagram, and of course on TikTok, where we are posting all the time over on TikTok. We are seeing some tremendous growth over on that platform, so we really appreciate that, and we hope that you will join us over there on TikTok as well.
I've been one of your other hosts, TJ Cornwell. Thank you to Brandon for joining us once again. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, hopefully. Abruptly right
As Sean said, follow us on all the social media channels. Let us know what you thought about Stranger Things, Obi-Wan Kenobi, maybe Jurassic Park 2 and 3. What you thought about those movies in the comments below. Subscribe to all our YouTube channels on here, and we will see you next time.
Boom.